Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Okay. All right. Shalom, Israel. Shalom Yabashim Shabrakatah to the brothers. Shalom Yahashim Bashim Yahshai to the sisters. For those of you who don't know, we are the Isupk, which stands for Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, under Commanding General Yohana, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Now, I'm here today to tell you that I'm going to educate y'all on something real quick. That, as usual, your Christian pastor has lied to you. Your Roman Catholic Church, your, was it the Virgin Mary, all that garbage, they lied to you. Why do they lie to you? They lie to you for a few reasons. One in particular that I'm going to be going over today is the concept of heaven and hell has been very misconstrued to our people. Like our people, and when I say our people, I'm talking about so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, who are God's chosen people according to the Bible. We have been told that when you die, you'll either go to heaven or hell. Now they make it seem like hell is like underneath the ground, some fiery pit with Satan with a pitchfork and demons running around and whatnot, right? That's what they want you to think. But the thing is, I'm here to tell you that hell is a condition. Heaven is a condition. And we, God's chosen people, are promised a kingdom. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Another thing that Christians love to do, Christians love to pray. They love to pray. Another indication that we are God's chosen people, because what do black and Hispanic people do? We pray. Whenever you are in a time of need, whenever your mother's sick or your brother done came down with COVID, I know they got the Omicron variant and whatnot. There's one thing that we always do whenever we are troubled with a time of adversity, and that is we pray. We pray. Now, the thing is, what you don't understand is your prayers are not being answered unless you are in the Isupk and the Commanding General Yohana. And if you want something to happen, you gotta make it happen. That's the big one right there. The title today is Heaven on Earth, because we, blacks, Hispanics, and natives, have to make heaven on earth. And it starts with you. Now, I'm gonna give everybody just a moment just to check in. If you haven't already, appreciate it if you please like, share, and subscribe. And in just a moment, we're going to be getting started with the prayers. The reason why I'm going over this topic today is because, of course, here in the ISUPK, we educate our brothers and sisters, man. I know people love to say, we just some, conspiracy theorists, and, you're a hate group and you're racist. And hey, let me tell you something right now. If loving my people and only my people and loving our King, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and our God, which is the God of Israel, hey, look, if that make me a racist, I guess I'm the biggest racist that there is, huh? So that's Tawab with me, because I love my people, and all brothers in the ISUPK and sisters in the ISUPK love their nation. You feel me? So now today we're going to be going over heaven on earth. You can't just wait around for heaven. You've been waiting and waiting for over 400 plus years for your oppressor to love you. You've been waiting forever. And guess what? You you still not getting love. Not the way you want to. During COVID-19, I mean, man, it's crazy, ain't it? We're in 2022. 2022, 2 years alone. COVID-19 has been running rampant, man. And throughout this time period alone, I mean, so much has happened in these last 2 years. But if I could, real quick, I think that Blacks and Hispanics and Natives have suffered even more racism throughout this short time period during COVID than ever before. At least it's getting televised. You get my point? But I'll give everybody just a quick moment just to tune in. And then we're going to be getting started with the prayers. And we're going to be reading out of the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 26, verses 1 through 7. For those of y'all who might be new to the channel, we read the first 7 verses in Hebrew. We read it in Hebrew because that is our native language. You could tune in every Friday to the Lashawan Quadash, taught by priest and officer Kapar, which Lashawan Quadash stands for Holy Tongue. So you can get to know your native language because everybody else got their native language. You know, what did you speak before you spoke English? What did you speak before you spoke Spanish? You know, I'm talking to our Hispanic brothers and sisters, you know, our so-called Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Guatemalans, so on and so forth. What did you speak before you were conquered by the Spaniards? You feel me? But not to get too off topic, we're going to be going over heaven on earth. So with that being said, I'm going to get started. So Amijam, just me up here. La Yasharala, which means to Israel in the Hebrew. Slovakia. Amajim upon Yahakwadam, which means to stand and face the east. We're going to be getting started with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, as usual. Or if you're new to the channel, sisters, remember to have your heads covered. Brothers, remember to have your heads uncovered. Now we're going to be getting started with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabashamaya, Quadash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwithka, Taba'a, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Latanmanawa, Lakum, Kol, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawatyanawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Banasaiwan, Abal, Hawashainawa, Mayun, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wahataparath, Laulamyum, Amun. Now the Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. I'll be going over Habakkuk, which is the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Babakasha, Latan Lanawa, Habakkuk, Habakkuk, Larapa'ah, Ko, Makala, Wako, Madawa, Habakkuk, Latahar, Ha, Matazarayim, Habakkuk, La'aquayim, Hamathim, Habakkuk, Al, Rakawath, Hatama Allah, Lagar Shun, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, for water, Amun. Now, Habakkuk, which is the power in the English. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out, in the name of Yahushai. Thank you, so be it. The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh, wa Yahushai, wa Mayaka Allah, wa Alahayim, Matazab Ya'ah, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapyim, Ha Saranyim, Ha Kwatazayoyim, Ha Kayayoyim, wa Ha Akwathim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, for water, Amun. Now the blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, thank you, so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Latananawa, Lakam, Call, Yawam, Basalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawathinawa, Wala'ah, Tabayanawa, Manasaiwan, Abal, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wataparath, Lawalumium, Aman. Now, Salakia. Salakia. I apologize. It's the wrong one. Salakia. I'm going to do that over. It's Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Salakia. Asha'ah. Salakia. Ayanya. All. Haharim. Ma'yan. Yaba'ah. Izoya. Ma'ain. Yahweh. Aisha. Shamayim. Wa'arataza. Ayatan. Lamawat. Ragalka. All. Yanawam. Shamarka. Hana. La'ah. Yanawam. Wala'ah, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al-Yad, Yamyamka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarach, Malayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal, Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'afka, Wa'athka, Ma'ita, Wa'ai, Awalam. Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim,
O Damaya, Laka, O Dakarash, Wa O Dashakwat, O Kaya, Hana, O Yibyaka, Yahama, Yawan, Ra'ash, I'll, Imaka, Ya'ayamwa, Sawada, Waita, Yaitazawa, I'll, Tazapawanyaka, Amorwa, Lakawa, Wanakakidam, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Shum, Yasharala, Auda, Kaya, Naitazawa, Laba, Yakadwa, Ayaka, Baryath, Yakarathwa, Ahoya, Adawam, Wa, Yashama Alium, Mawa'aba, Wahagoyim, Gabal, Wamawan, Wamalak, Palashath, Amyashabia, Tazawar, Gum, Ashawar, Nalawa, Imum, Hayawa, Zarawai, Labunya, Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Lahum, Kamudyam, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayubyan, Banakor, Kwayashwan, Nashamadwa, Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shayatamwa, Nada, Yamawa, Kairab, Wakaza Abba, Wakaza Bak, Wakatazor, Manai, Ko, Nasayakamwa, Ashor, Amorwa, Nayarasha, Lanawa, Af, Naawath, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapunya, Raka'ah, Ka'ash, Taba'ira, Ya'ira, Wa, Kalahaba, Talahat, Haryam, Kun, Taradatma, Basa'iraka, Wabasa, Wapathka, Tabahalam, Mala'a, Panyahum, Kwalawan, Waya, Bakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya, Bahawa, Adya'id, Waya, Kaparwa, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Diawa, Kaya, Adda, Shamka, Yahawa, Labadka, Alwan, Alko, Haratazah. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace. And be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make atonement, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also was joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them, as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zaid. Yea, all their princes, as Zabah, and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as a stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame set the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Lord, let them be confounded, and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth.
You may be seated. Shalom, Israel. What's going on? Trooper Halak. What's going on? Natazak. Tharwan. What's going on? Shalom, sis. Slaki. Okay, so today we're going to be reading out of the book of Deuteronomy. Take these off. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 26. I'm going to read the first 7 verses in Hebrew, and then we'll give the breakdown in the English. All right, so this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 26, verse 1 in the Hebrew. Slaki. Baya taba ya'a. Waha ya'a. Baya taba ya'a. Allah ka dataza. Ashad. Wa'ad ya'a. Allah ya ra. Let's see. Nah. Let's see. Nath. Nathun. Salakia. Nathun. La'ak. Nope, Salakia. Na'ach. La'a. Waya dashath. Waya'ash. Ba'ath. Da'a. Wala Qua'ath. Mada'ash. Yath. Bala pa daya. Kada maka. Ashad. Tabaya'a. Ma'a datazan. Ashda or Ashad. Ya'a wa'a. Allah ya'an. Nathun. La'an. Yashamath. Bata. Bata na'a. Waya la ba'ath. All na ham kwa ya'am. Ashad. Yaba'ad. That is ya'a wa'a. All ya'an. La'ash ba'an. See. Shamya. Sham. Slakia. Yaba'ath. All. Kaba'an. Ashad. Let's see. Ya'a. Bayama Yum. Let's see. Ha'am. Ya'a Ma Dath. Allah Ya'a. Aga Agada Thaya. Aya oops like Aya Wam. Laya Hawa'a. Allah Ya'an. Baya Ba'ataya. All Hadataza. Ashad. Nasha Batataza. Waya it's like Wa'ad Ya'a. La'a Ba'ath. Ya'un Yun. Let's see. Lathath. La'un Ya. Let's see. Wa Laqua Haba Ha'un. Hatan Maya Da Yun. Wa'aba Ya Kaya. Let's see. Lapanya. Za Ba'ach. Ya Waya Aya. All no select. Allah Ya'an. Wataza Baya'ath. No slack yeah. Wa'ama Da'ath. La Pa Naya. La Aponya. Yawa Ya'a. Allah Ya'an. Ada Maya. Abad. Abaya. Wayata slack. Wayada'a. Mataza Daya Ma'a. Wayagada Sham Ma no Ba Mataya Mata Ma'ai. Let's see. Ma'ai Maita. Waya Ya Sham Laga Waya. Gada Ya'o. Itaza Itazawam. Let's see. Wadaba. Wayada tataza ata atun ya hamataza ya ya waya waitataza wayataza ba da ba da wayata wayatan ya I la ya da ya I ba da a kwasha a wayataza I kwa kwaak all waya aya. What's the last one? Okay, that's it. All right, Slakia. Okay, so all right, so that's it for the Hebrew. All right, so we'll be getting on with the Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 26. We're going to be starting at verse 1. And if you haven't already known, so the topic today is going to be about heaven on earth. So we're going to read the Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 26, verse 1 in the English. And it says, "And it shall be, when thou art coming unto the land which the Lord thy God given thee for an inheritance, and possess it, and dwellest therein." Verse 2, "That thou shalt take of the first of all the fruit of the earth, which thou shalt bring out of the land that the Lord thy God given thee, and shalt put it in a basket, and shall go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose to place his name there. And thou shalt go unto the priests that shall be in those days, and say unto him, I profess this day unto the Lord thy God, that I am come unto the country which the Lord sware unto our fathers for to give us." This is talking about the inheritance that the Lord is giving us as a nation of Israel, right? Now it says in verse 4, "And the priest shall take the basket out of thine hand and set it down before the altar of the Lord thy God. And thou shalt speak and say before the Lord thy God, A Syrian ready to perish was my father, and he went down into Egypt, and sojourned there with a few, and became there a nation, great, mighty, and populous. And the Egyptians evil entreated us, and afflicted us, and laid upon us hard bondage, slavery." Verse 7, "And when we cried unto the Lord of our Lord God of our fathers, the Lord heard our voice, and looked on our affliction, and our labor, and our oppression. And the Lord brought us forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand, and with an outstretched arm, and with great terribleness, and with signs, and with wonders." To speak of some of those wonders that the Most High did when he got us up out of Egypt. For those of y'all who don't know, this is when Moses and his brother Aaron, both were Levites. The Levites are what you would call the Haitians today, the tribe of Levi, which are one of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Now, Moses and Aaron were sent to get us up out of captivity. And there were great wonders that were happening, right? Now, it wasn't so wonderful to the Egyptians, you feel me? They were going through a very, very rough time. Why? We can talk about some of the plagues. Some of the things that the Most High did was he caused swarms of flies and locusts and famine. Personally, I think one of the craziest things he did was he turned all the bodies of water into blood. And that sounds crazy to people, but like you gotta imagine. I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine, but at that time, anything like any body of water was turned to blood. The Lord cut off Egypt's water supply, and I'm talking about all bodies of water. Like imagine you in your crib and you taking a drink of water, right? and then boom, it's just blood. Everything, just a sea of red, right? And it was because Pharaoh refused to give us up. He wanted to keep us in captivity. All right. Now let's keep reading. It's verse 9. And he hath brought us into his place and hath given us this land, even a land that floweth with milk and honey. Now, the milk and honey, right? You gotta remember this is a black book. This is a Hispanic book, right? How do we talk? In slang. You feel me? Now, the milk and honey, there wasn't literally milk, like rivers of milk and honey. That's not what it was. Milk and honey is a phrase that can be used of something in abundance, like very fruitful. It was a very fruitful land, right? It was very, had an abundance of a lot of things, right? It was a great land, not literal like a waterfall of milk. Like that's not what it is. Like this ain't Disney, all right? This ain't Marvel Studios. We're not Christian, okay? Just get out of that mindset. Now, verse 10, it says, And now behold, I have brought the first fruits of the land, which thou, O Lord, hast given me, and thou shalt set it before the Lord thy God, and worship before the Lord thy God. And thou shalt rejoice in every good thing which the Lord thy God hath given unto thee, and unto thine house, and the Levite, the Haitians, and the stranger that is among you. When thou hast made an end of tithing all the tithes of thine increase the third year, which is the year of tithing, and hast given it unto the Levite, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, that they may eat within thy gates and be filled. So this is talking about an inheritance, right? A great land that the Most High was going to give the children of Israel. Now, this sounds like heaven. What am I getting at right now? Heaven. Now, I'm not talking about what Christians try to make like Christians try to make it seem like heaven is just in the clouds. And if you really think about it, in all in all iterations of heaven in like movies, they always show angels, right? What do the angels always look like? If anybody want to take a stab at it real quick, you want to put it in the comments. What do the Asians always look like? That's what I said, the Asians, Salakia, the angels, Salakia. What do the angels always look like in like I'm trying to remember, it was a movie. It was called Legion, and it was angels coming down from heaven and stuff. For those of y'all who don't know, I'll give y'all a quick second just to put it in the comments. Somebody can give me a description of what America tries to depict an angel as. There you go. Yep, Most High in Christ. Sis said white with wings, and Halak says white with blue eyes. Exactly. An Edomite, a Caucasian. You're absolutely correct. They try to make it seem like they're white people. Now, I don't know about you. Like, in my mind, I used to think as a kid, like, okay, if heaven is in the clouds, right? Like, to get inside the mind of a Christian, if heaven is in the clouds and all the angels are white and it's full of white people, what about me? What about all the black people? What about all the Hispanics? What about all the natives? Like the movie Ten Commandments, Charles Heston. Yeah, Most High in Christ, the water. All that. I'm thinking like, well, what about us? I don't see not one Mexican. I don't see not one Jamaican, no Guatemalan, no Negro, no nothing in heaven. And that's how they show heaven their way, right? It's all full of white people. It's all full of Caucasians with wings, white with wings, like the sis said, right? White with blue eyes, like the brother said, right? That don't sound like heaven to me. I don't know about you. Like, if you telling me that when I die, that's where my soul's gonna go, well, I feel like you lying to me because I don't see not one Negro up there. Don't nobody look like me up there. So where do we go? Where do we go when we die? You gotta look at the inside of that, right? That's what Christians force feed you. No, heaven is on earth. Now, let me ask y'all another question real quick. Who's in heaven right now? Anybody can answer. Who's in heaven? Hint, hint, I'll give it to you right now. It ain't us. I'll tell you that much. Give y'all a quick moment. Just type in the comments. Who is in heaven right now? Nobody want to take a guess? Okay, I'll give it to you real quick. The person that's in heaven right now is Esau. There you go. So yeah, the oppressors. There you go. Yep, Most High in Christ. Esau, the Caucasians, the Europeans, the devil that the Bible speaks of. You get my point? The oppressor. He is in his heaven. Why is he in his heaven right now? Well, think about it. We live under his nation. I mean, anything he says goes. Esau, right now, for the time being, is viewed as the superpower on the planet. Think about it. We have all these different nations. We got the Edomites, right? We got Moab, with the so-called Chinese. We got Ammon, the so-called Japanese. We have the Hamites. Those could be your Egyptians, your Africans, Ethiopians, Kenyan, whatever, right? You got Samoans, right? You got all these different nations. But who is the superpower right now? It's America. Exactly, because he living it up, running the world right now. Exactly, sis. He run everything right now. I'm emphasizing the right now, right? Esau is on his high horse, right? And he's living in his heaven because everything is made in his way. We have said it multiple times. Esau is the most subtle beast in the field. You feel me? Like there's no other predator on the planet that is more cunning and conniving than Esau. Anything that he wants goes. The deception, everything that he's about is antichrist. You get my point? What that mean? I know some people going to get kind of thrown off like, what you mean Edomites are the antichrist? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Edomites are the devil that the Bible speaks of, and they are the antichrist. Anti meaning against. You are against Christ. Okay? Christ is about this business. Just like how we are in the ISUP Canon Command General Yohana. Okay? He serves the Most High diligently, exceedingly, with perfection. Okay? Esau don't do that because he wasn't given the law. Esau is cool with molestation. He's cool with child sex trafficking. The United States makes billions of dollars off of human sex trafficking. And who do you think they go for? They go for us. They go for Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, not just women, but the men too. They get you at a young age, right? They drug you up, dope you up, separate you from your family. Next thing you know, you waking up in a box somewhere. I don't know, right? Here, it's legal to, smoke. Let me tell you right now, in America, Most High in Christ, Christ ain't no weak brother. You absolutely right. Let me tell you right now, in America, just to paint a picture for you, it's legal to kill yourself. Think about it. It's legal to smoke cigarettes. In most places now, you could smoke weed now. People like to say, "Oh, weed don't kill nobody." You don't know what that weed laced with. You don't know what's in there. You're just buying it at the little dispensaries because you want to get high out your mind to run away from your depression, from your anxiety, from things that you got to deal with. You feel me? You can do those things. Abortion, oh my goodness, abortion is legal. Abortion is legal. Think about it. They try to, and this is why the oppressor is so crafty, man. He tries to tell our women that, okay, you know what? The baby wasn't born yet. It didn't have a beating heart yet. So it's okay to get the abortion because you're not really doing anything wrong. It's your body. It's your choice whether or not if you want to be a mother. And to make it even worse, they make our women go they make our women go against the men. Obviously, I talk about this a little bit in like all my classes. Just talk about the destruction that Esau makes on our nation. A brother might want the child. You feel me? Like, no, I want my son, I want my daughter. You know, the sister, like, no, it's my body. You know, getting her head is being filled with all this nonsense, all these demons, and you kill the baby. You get an abortion. I don't know who needs to tell y'all this, but if you get an abortion, you are killing that child. You're denying that child. I know some people like, oh, well, it's my body, it's my right. Well, guess what? That child had a right to live. In America, it is legal to kill yourself. Okay? This is Esau's heaven. He runs everything. We don't own anything. All these little celebrities and all that stuff, you know, Kanye, you know, Drake. I mean, shoot, I mean, he ain't here no more. Was it Young Dolph? All these rappers, they work for the white man. They don't own nothing. They work for the white man. They just got a good job. They a slave making more money than you and me. That's all it is. But them big corporations are run by the white man. This is his heaven. He can do whatever he wants and get away with it. What was his name? Make sure. Let's see if I can remember his name real quick. I think it was Brock Turner. Was it Brock Turner? Make sure real quick. I want to make sure I'm getting the name correct before I talk about him. Let's see. Brock Turner. Yep, this is the one I'm thinking of. For those of y'all who don't know who Brock Turner was, Brock Turner was an Edomite teenager at the time, and he got caught red-handed raping a woman, right? He got caught in the act. Like, there was no speculation like, oh, you know, we found some evidence. No, he got caught doing it. And do you want to know what happened to him? You want to know what happened to him? Oh my goodness. So his parents wanted to stick up for him. And it was said that, you know, he was such a great athlete. He was such, you know, a scholar. He had great grades. He had a promising future. You feel me? That's what was promised to him, right? Because this is his heaven, right? And they didn't want to waste such potential. So he ended up, Salakia, he didn't end up going to jail. Matter of fact, I'll read it for you. It says right here. It says, Brock Turner was sentenced on June 2nd, 2016 to 6 months incarceration in the Santa Clara County Jail to be followed by 3 years of probation. He was released 3 months early. Additionally, Turner must register as a sex offender for the rest of his life and participate in a sex offender rehabilitation program. Here's the thing. You peeped how he got out early, right? Now, I know some people are like, oh, well, you know, he had to register as a sex offender. His life is ruined. No, he still got to go to college. And I guarantee you, he probably assaulted another woman or women. You want to know why? Because he's living in his heaven right now. He can get away with something like that. But Lord forbid. I remember, matter of fact, hold up. Get this real quick. Oh, yep, here you go. Let's see. I believe this was a brother. Let's see. Here it goes. Millions want 110-year prison sentence change for trucker in deadly Colorado crash. Let's see. What's this brother's name right here? Okay, let's see. It says in 2019, Aguilera Moredos was involved in a 28-car crash that killed 4 people on Interstate 70 in Colorado, according to the Denver Channel. Aguilera said he lost control of the semi-truck's brakes and crashed into traffic, the new outlets reported. Police say he was driving 85 miles an hour just before the crash. Let's see, he was convicted of 27 counts, including 4 counts of vehicular homicide and 6 counts of first-degree assault, according to CBS Denver. Now, this brother was sentenced to 110 years in prison. Now, okay, let's talk about it real quick. Obviously, the brother killed some people, right? You think that brother went out there with the intention of killing somebody? No, he didn't do that. He was driving a semi-truck at 85 miles an hour. And sadly, some people's lives were taken at that time. You get my point? Now, this was a horrible thing that happened, and I'm not going to make light of the situation. But see, this brother was sentenced 110 years. Like, that's a above life sentence. Like the average Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian doesn't live to 110. You get my point? And the brother's already a grown man as it is. I believe he was 20, 26. I believe he was 26. I'm not sure. But anyway, the brother's already a grown man. He's gonna die in jail. He's going to die in jail. Meanwhile, an Edomite can go out and rape somebody and get sentenced probation. Oh, and get off early. Do you want to know why? Because this is Esau's heaven. And this is our hell right now, right? Now, it's not supposed to be like this. Let's talk about it a little bit. We're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. That's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. Now, here it says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth." That sounds like heaven, right? I know that's kind of a hard concept for our people to grasp nowadays because we felt so low for so long. I mean, really think about it. Israel, according to like the world, we're like at the bottom of the barrel right now. Nobody really respects us as a nation. Some other cultures, they like what we do. They like to mimic what they do. They like our music. They like our fashion. They love our women. Okay. They love our style. They love all those things, right? But as a nation, they don't really respect us. I mean, think about it. I mean, what I'm talking about, the Moabites, real quick. Half the time, they set up their businesses in predominantly Black communities. I mean, where have you ever really seen a Chinese restaurant in a white community? And it's not too often. At least I've never seen it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. But I haven't really seen it. No, they usually set it up in a Black or Hispanic community, right? Because they want to profit off of you. Okay? Them hair salons, where do they usually set them up at? In a Black and Hispanic community. And who are their primary customers most of the time? It's sisters. They go there to get their hair done, to get their nails done, all that stuff, right? They profit off of us. Okay? The Arabs, all right, they come here, they own the gas stations. Most of the time, where are they at? They're in a rural community. Who lives in those rural communities? Blacks and Hispanics and natives. All other nations profit off of us. They don't respect us. I mean, why would they? What do we got? What do we run? Are we viewed, is Israel right now viewed as the superpower on the planet? The sad answer is no, we're not. Nobody really respects us because Esau done beat us down for over 500 plus years to the ground. That most people make fun of us. People love to crack jokes. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, "Oh, at least while my dad's around," because the stereotype is that black people don't have their fathers around. "Oh, at least my parents are legal and they're in this country." I've heard that being said to our Hispanic brothers and sisters because they're made to believe that they're illegal immigrants. You get my point? People don't even pay mind to Native Indians. I remember it was y'all probably seen it before. It was a picture some time ago, a few years ago, and it's a group of Gadites, so-called Native Indians, right? And they're sticking up their middle finger out Mount Rushmore. And people were getting very angry, like, "Oh, they need to be kicked out of this country immediately for disrespecting our forefathers." And then somebody had to make a comment saying, "You do know those are Native Indians, right?" And everybody got quiet. Nobody respects us. You feel me? Nobody respects us. Khan, yes, we know that we are special. Here in the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana, we know that we are a special people unto the Most High. But we had to learn that, though. Because let's be real, a lot of us did not feel that way before coming in here. But being honest, we haven't. All right? That's one of the beautiful things about coming into the truth. Now, to even further reiterate the hell that we live in this country. Matter of fact, no, that's too small. I'm not even going to say this country. I'm going to say in the world, just in general, right? We're going to go to the book of Revelations, chapter 1. We're going to go to verse 18. That's the book of Revelations, chapter 1. We're going to start at verse 18. Let's see. All right, Slovakia. Hold on. Bodies in the street. Let's see. I'm living was dead and behold. Actually, Slovakia. No, that's not the one I'm looking for. It's all appearing, but da 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 da. No, Slovakia. I read that wrong. Slovakia. The Book of Revelations 11 and 8. Slovakia. My handwriting is horrible. That's the Book of Revelations, chapter 11, verse 8. Slovakia. So it says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is Sodom in Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. America spiritually is Sodom in Egypt. How? Okay, let's talk about Egypt. Egypt, we were in bondage, correct? We were slaves. Okay, Egypt means bondage. And at that time, Egypt was run by who? Pharaoh. And Pharaoh, if you read about the plagues that the Most High had to bestow upon him and his nation in order to let us go, um, Pharaoh was very haughty. He was very haughty. He was very egotistical, right? Much like our oppressor today. He thought that he was God. So much to the point that when the Most High opposed him, he looking at like, nah, like I'm not gonna give up the children of Israel. Like, no, they mine. And the Most High Himself was like looking at him like, are you serious? Like, do you not understand who you speaking to right now? I could end your whole nation right now, and he could have. Most High did some crazy things, right? We could talk about the plagues. I talked briefly about the bodies of blood, the famine, the swarms of flies, the boils, right? He was destroying Egypt economically, very similar to America right now. COVID is a plague bestowed by the Most High. If y'all didn't know that already, you want to know why it keeps evolving. Like I know a virus is a living organism, right? Like you can't just kill it off that simple. It keeps evolving. Why? Because the Most High wants it to. And Esau is working very, very hard to do everything that he can to fight against. I mean, I don't even know how many variants are there now. Was it the Omicron? Whatever. First of all, I don't know who the hell came up with Omicron. Sound like a damn transformer. But anyway, the point being is that you see what COVID is doing to the world. You know how many people are losing their jobs, companies going out of business, right? People being forced to not even slack it, not being forced to, but they're being paid disability. Some of them getting paid better with disability, so they don't want to go to work, right? Now these companies they ain't got workers. I was looking online the other day because I'm hopefully Lord allowed I'm about to get a new slave. But I'm looking and the comments I'm seeing is saying urgently hiring, like they're looking for people because they're losing people. People are still dying. People are still dying. For those of y'all who don't know, y'all might not see it in the headlines like that, but people are still dying today, man. That's the Lord right there. The Lord is going to keep it up. And you see what it's doing to America. You see what it's doing across the world. I mean, shoot. It wasn't too, matter of fact, what was it? Cuba? Cuba, they were rioting out there because they weren't getting the food supplies that they need to sustain their nation. You feel me? When I say their nation, those are our brothers and sisters. For those of y'all who don't know, that's the tribe of Manasseh. Okay, but you see the chaos, right? My goodness, there we talk about the Levite brothers and sisters. It wasn't that long ago. What happened? They tried to come into this country. Now America welcomed the Arabs with open arms, like, yeah, come on. But what happened when the tribe of Levi tried to enter into America? Esau, Esau channeled his spirit, man. He channeled his spirit and he brought it back to the old days. And they were whipping Haitians on horsebacks. Google it. Look at Esau's face as he's doing that. Fierce countenance. That's in the Bible too, and the Apocrypha. He had a look of fierce countenance because he did not want any more children of Israel entering into his heaven. You get my point? That's the Lord destroying Esau's nation, right? Now, I just talked about Egypt. Good night. Do I even dare talk about Sodom? For anybody that watches this channel, you probably heard me say this before. Salakia, especially out here in the West Coast, it's like mini Sodom and Gomorrah out here, man. I mean, good night. It is horrible. Did you know that there? Oh my goodness. Okay, it's one thing to have same-sex marriages. That's already unlawful as hell as it is, anyway. But our people are so in hell that there are brothers and sisters who are so messed up in the head. Not only are they given into same-sex marriages, but there are brothers out there who really think that they are a woman trapped in a man's body. And there are women who think that they are a man trapped in a woman's body. And they will surgically get their body modified to look that of the opposite sex. There are men who are traveling to other countries to get, what is it called? I think it's like a uterus transplant because they can't bear children because they're a man. The Lord never designed a man to give birth that way. No, you hold sperm. You need a woman in order to impregnate so she can bear the child. It takes a man and a woman. All right. But you see how Esau trying to play God, kind of like how Pharaoh was trying to play God. Okay. Like my goodness, man. Like this is the state of our people, man. These are our people. These are our people, and they are suffering, man. Yeah, San Francisco. Oh yeah, I heard about San Francisco. I ain't been out there, but ooh-wee. I heard the LGBTQ community is strong out there, man. But let's keep reading real quick. So we just read verse 8 in the book of Revelation, chapter 11. Let's read verse 9. And in verse 9 it says, "And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves." That's talking about us. Like, whenever one of us dies, you ever see like it's like a very big deal? It's a very big deal. Like we talked about recently was a Young Dolph. Okay. Not that long ago, Salakia, I forgot his name. I'm not from the West Coast. It was a West Coast rapper out here, Salakia. He got stabbed, right? He got stabbed. Everybody remembers Trayvon Martin, right? Who was it? DMX, not that long ago, right? My point being is when we die, it's like a wonder. Like it's so what's the word I'm looking for? It's so exaggerated. Like everybody sees us. That's what it says, like all the other nations, like everybody sees Israel and what's happening to us, man. Every time one of us dies, it's like on the news everywhere, right? Slagi, I forgot the brother's name, but it was another brother last year who was driving, and y'all probably know what I'm talking about. It was the white cop. She pulled up on him and she told him to get up out of the car. And she claims that she thought she mistaken her gun for a taser, but she pulled out the gun and shot him multiple times. The sad part was he kept driving and he was bleeding out in his seat, and I believe his girlfriend was right next to him. So he's dying, right? The brother died. You get my point? It made the news everywhere, right? But again, Esau living in his heaven, you get my point? She got away with it. What she say? Oh, I thought it was my taser. Now, this was a police officer. I believe she was in the police force for over 20 years. And you mean to tell me with all that training and all that background, you couldn't tell the difference between your taser and your gun? No, she wanted to kill that young man. She wanted to. And she had the power to do it and to get away with it because we are living in Esau's heaven. And this is our hell. This is hell. Tell me it ain't hell. This is horrible. Think about it. Like a brother like me, I walk around the wrong block, I'm going to get shot. I'm going to get killed because of the way I look. because our brothers were taught to hate each other, the southern and the northern tribes. Mexicans were taught to hate blacks. Blacks were taught to hate Mexicans. Blacks were taught to hate Puerto Ricans. And Puerto Ricans hate Salvadorians. And Salvadorians hate Dominicans. We all hate each other. Hell, not even saying that we just hate other tribes of Israel. We be hating our own tribe. You see blacks, you see the light skin versus dark skin. I mean, come on, man. Do I even need to talk about this? The colorism, right? Here in America, I mean, it's like what, the lighter you are, the whiter you are. And the whiter you are, the better you are. And our brothers and sisters have been taught like, oh, okay, I'm a little bit better off because I'm light skinned. And vice versa. Dark skinned brothers and sisters, they've been taught, oh yeah, they're not really one of us. Those are the white man's people. We don't like them. I didn't realize how grave it was until I left my hometown. Slovakia, where I grew up, Israel was just Israel. We didn't know we were Israelites, obviously, but Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Jamaicans, Trinidad, Negroes, all that stuff. Like we all just chill with each other, because we just knew, right? And then I left, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe how much racism I was getting from my own people. Like, yeah, you too dark. We don't like you. Like, oh, all right. These are other Judites telling me this. I'm like, damn, all right. I see Issacharite brothers and sisters who don't like each other because of, oh, you're too dark. Was it a negrito? That's what they say. It's horrible. This is hell, man. We're confused. We have no protection. We're forced to abide by the rules and regulations of Esau. Thwada, Drakeo, that was his name. Thwada, I appreciate it. Drakeo, that was the West Coast rapper who got stabbed out here in California. My point being is that we living in hell, man. Bodies laying in the street, gang banging, murder, child molestation, pedophilia, homosexuality. I mean, you name it, man. Drug addiction. Like, where does it end? Where does it end, man? Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you need to understand that the concept of heaven and hell is not just, it's not some alternate dimension where you go wherever. Like, that's not what it is. It's a state of where your nation is at right now. We're living in hell right now. When you die, your soul goes back to the Most High. It doesn't go to heaven or hell. All right. We're going to read that in the Bible, matter of fact. So I'm going to let's go to Ecclesiastes. We're going to go to Ecclesiastes. We're going to go to chapter 12, verse 7. Let's see real quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. So it says right here in verse 7, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. Now, this is talking about when you die, right? Think of it. It's pretty simple when you really put it into context. What happens when you die? Your body decomposes into the earth. Your soul, however, goes back to the Most High. Your soul does not descend into the ground, into a fiery pit of hell. No, that's not what happens. You already living in hell. Now your soul going back to the Most High. Now let's continue. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel. We're going to go to chapter 18, verse 4. That's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 18, verse 4. So it says right here in verse 4, behold, all souls are mine. Actually, you know what, Salagi, before I get there, let's go to verse 3. As I live, saith the Lord God, ye shall not have occasion anymore to use this proverb in Israel. He's talking to the children of Israel. Behold, all souls are mine, as the soul of the Father, also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. This is showing you that the Most High, your soul belongs to the Most High. If I can get into a little bit of the context of that, like right now, Your soul has, I mean, your body is your physical form, right? That the Most High gave to you. But your soul belongs to the Most High. When you pass away, your soul goes back to the Most High. God is in control of all that. Satan is not going to come down in a hole and no, that's not what's happening. No. That's not what happens. Christians believe that nonsense. But you see right here, it clearly shows you what happens when you pass on, right? Now, what happens when you pass on? Your soul goes back to the Most High. It says that when you sinneth, ye shall die. The Lord can destroy your soul too. I want to implement that in there too. Okay, I believe I'm paraphrasing the book of Matthew. It says, don't fear that can destroy the body, but that which can destroy the body and the soul. Meaning, don't fear man, right? Don't fear your oppressor. It also says you can't serve two masters, right? Because if you love the one, you shall hate the other. All right, that's in the Bible. So my point being is, don't be afraid of Esau, because being afraid of Esau, you're not going to have any type of salvation. Think about it. Our people have been, I'm going to be real with you. Our people have been terrified of Esau for generations. No one's going to say it, but it's the truth. Okay. The reason why a lot of brothers don't want to speak up anymore is because they've been completely effeminated and they're scared of losing their job, going to jail, being pulled over by the police, having their woman turn on him, because Esau will definitely help you with that. Oh, he'll definitely turn your woman against you. Child support. You see what I'm saying? So they're afraid. Brothers are afraid. Sisters are afraid too. That's why they try to effeminate their sons. They would rather have their sons be a homosexual and just do what the white man tells them to do, rather than sit there and actually have some balls and stand up for himself and die. They'd rather you be dead on the inside than be dead for real. That's hell. That is hell. You feel me? We got to get up out of that. We have to. We have to. How though? That's the big one that I wanted to get to real quick. How do you get up out of this hell? Now I know we out here in the UPK, we got the easy answer, right? Follow the law, statutes, and commandments. How you do that? You come into the Isupk and the Commanding General Yahan. Slack here, Justin. Slack here, just one moment. Slack here. But my point being is, yeah, that's the I guess you could say the straightforward answer, right? The answer that I really want to get to is, how do you get up out of this hell? You have to work for it. You gotta work. How do you work? Well, I mean, you can start by coming to the school. I mean, that's pretty simple. But coming to the school, that's the easy part. Now that you're in the school, what are you gonna do for your nation? Huh? What are you gonna do? There's a reason why we go to camp. There's a reason why we hold classes. There's a reason why we do food drives and give food out to the homeless and give clothes out to the homeless. Okay, we have black businesses, Hispanic businesses. We help out one another. We have real sisterhood and real brotherhood. You gotta work for it. Okay, you can't sit here and request something and not work for it. Perfect example. Brothers in the world today constantly complain about not having a good woman, right? You complain about not having a good woman. Okay, fine. What are you doing to better that? Are you leading by example? Are you? Because the same brothers, I mean, I'm just speaking from personal experience, brothers in that, in the world and stuff, the same brother that's constantly complaining about not having a good woman is the same brother that love hoes. You love whores. That's what you go for. Skimpy, provocative, whorish women that don't have an ounce of shame in them. But you want a good woman in your life. All right. Oh my goodness. Don't even get me started if you have a daughter. She gonna end up just like that. What are you doing? What are you doing to change that? You gotta lead by example. You gotta put in the work. Be a good father. Make better choices in the women that you deal with. Stay away from strange women. From strange women, I mean women of other nations. Stay away from the Asian women. Stay away from the Pacific Islanders. Stay away from the Japanese. Good night. Definitely, you better stay away from the Edomite or African. Good night. You better do that. But the whole point being is you got to work. Okay, the kingdom ain't just gonna randomly appear out of nowhere. That's not. It's not gonna happen like that. You got to strive for the kingdom. Okay. Now, Salakia. Now let's see. What are some of the things that are promised to us? Now, there's another thing that so-called blacks and Hispanics have a problem with. We don't think it can get any better. We really don't. We don't think it can get any better. Esau is the most powerful nation on the planet. He's the superpower, and he has all this great technology. You feel me? I mean, think about it. Look at his military forces, right? The bombs, the nuclear missiles, the tanks. Look, I work on some of these jets. I seen what they can do. It's crazy. It's almost like something out of a movie. You like, damn, they could really build that? That jet really does that? Damn. And then look at the technology that we have, right? Here's the thing, though. I want to point out something real quick. Every so-called great nation that has existed before has all come to a close at some point. Don't believe me? Rome and Greece. Who worried about Rome and Greece anymore? They're not the superpower no more. What about Egypt? Egypt is a desolate land, but it was once a great nation, right? That was once the superpower on the planet. And at that time, nobody thought it could ever get better than Egypt. It's nothing new to what's happening right now. That's why when we read in Salakia, when we read Revelation chapter 11, verse 8 through 9, spiritually Sodom and Gomorrah, right? That's America. And our people don't think that it can get any better than what we got right now. Like, we just got to suck it up. It is what it is. Can't do nothing about it. Can't go against it. Might as well get with them, right? Let me read to you a little something. We're going to go to the book of Revelation again, but this time we're going to go to chapter 21. We're going to read of some of the things that are promised to the children of Israel. Now, it says in the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Getting more into what happened to Egypt and Rome and Greece. They're gone. Nobody cares about them. They have no power, but they were once on top. The same thing is going to happen to America. But let's keep reading. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And God himself shall be with them and be their God. He's speaking to the children of Israel. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. I'm gonna just stop right there for a moment. Take a moment to breathe that in. The Lord's saying he's gonna wipe our tears away, man. the things that we're suffering right now, the death of our family, our friends, kidnapping, molestation, physical ailments that we can't cure, diabetes, cancer, you know, things of that matter. The Lord's going to wipe away them tears. And there's not going to be any more death. No more senseless killing. No more. No more worrying if your son is going to go to school and if he's going to come back home alive. No more wondering, where is my daughter? I haven't heard from her in a couple of hours. I hope she's okay. Let me check up on Pops real quick because it's real crazy out here. Because COVID out here killing everybody. I pray that my family doesn't get COVID. There's not going to be any more of that, right? It's not going to be any more sorrow. No more brothers killing brothers, sisters killing sisters. No more adultery, okay? No more sleeping with another man's wife. No more sisters cheating on their man and whoring themselves out, right? Learning to forgive one another, right? Nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. They're gone, they're over and done with. Verse 5, and he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, it is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things. That's why we say endure to the end, right? That's why Christ said endure to the end. You got to endure to the end. You ain't got a choice. You have to. Because if you're not going to endure unto the end, what are you really doing it for? Realistically, what are you doing it for? You're not going to make it. Remember, Moses didn't make it to the kingdom of heaven. And he was a righteous brother. Remember, he got us up out of bondage. Him and Aaron. But, those of y'all who don't know, quick recap, Moses and Aaron did something very wrong. First of all, Aaron, he made a false god out of gold, the golden calf. And they built an altar for it and everything because we were so impatient and we were so ungrateful. We didn't have a God that we could physically see. So we had to make one. But the Lord said, don't make any graven images of me. And that's exactly what Aaron did. And then Moses was told to speak to the rock so that the Most High could show Israel, like, I can do this for you, right? But what did Moses do? He got frustrated. Because y'all remember, this is Israel we're talking about. This is us. And what we like to do, complain all the damn time. Even though the Lord gave us everything that we needed, we were still being ungrateful. And Moses just got so sick of it. He's like, man, damn this. And just struck the rock. So then the praise went to Moses. Like, oh, Moses, he saved us. Not the Most High. And because of those things, he did not make it into the kingdom of heaven. That's all it takes. It might be that one. You might be on your last straw. And the Lord is just like, he wants you to make it and you just couldn't do it. You fell out of the truth. You stopped coming to class. You stopped dressing modestly. You want to celebrate birthdays again. You want to be a whore again. You want to smoke weed. You want to smoke cigarettes. You want to snort blow and all that stuff. That's what you want to do because it make you feel good. Right? And on that day, that's when Christ gonna come back. And you're gonna be mad as hell. Because you didn't endure to the end. Let's read verse 7 again. In the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 7. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and the murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and liars, shall have their part in the lake which burneth with the fire and brimstone, which is the second death. We stop right there. It's talking about the second death. Let me see if anybody, let me see. The fire that is the second death. So let me ask y'all something real quick. Feel free to put it in the comments. What did the Lord do the first time when he wiped out so many nations on the planet? What was the first time? What did he do? What did he do? I don't want to give y'all a hint just yet because that's going to give it away. There's something that the Most High did. This is referring that this is going to be the second death, meaning that this isn't the first time that the Lord caused mass death across the planet. There was a first time. Let's see if anybody knows. If anybody wants to put it in the comments, I'll give y'all a quick second. Khan, Most High in Christ. So the brother said, flooded the earth. Yup. Sister Batharawana said, flood the earth. Yup, sis. Was it the flood? Absolutely. It was the flood. In the time of Noah, right? The Most High flooded the earth, right? And wiped out. I mean, you got to think, man, like billions of people, all right, dead. And only a very select few were chosen to live. That's what the Lord means by the second death, meaning that there's going to come a time where there's going to be mass death across the planet. Except this time, it's not going to be a flood. It's going to be with fire. All right? It's going to be with fire. I'm going to stop right there for a moment. Let's see. We're actually going to read, we're going to go to 2 Peter. We're going to go to 2 Peter. We're going to go chapter 3, verse 10. So 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. There's a reason why we're going to go over this. So it says in the book of 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10, Salakia. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, meaning you ain't going to know when you're going to come back, all right? In which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. The fire. What is that fire? If you watch any of Priest and Officer Thabawan's classes, thermonuclear missiles. We have those. Nuclear bombs. Y'all heard about the Hiroshima bombing? Y'all see how devastating that was? Yeah, imagine that all over the world. People are going to die. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing for you. People are going to die. Okay? Now, let's see. Let's go to Deuteronomy. And please, by all means, put this in your notes. So I just read right here. This is talking about the second death, right? So you can start with the book of Revelations, chapter 21, and it said it in verse 9. Then you can go to, we just read 2 Peter, chapter 3, verse 10. Now, we're going to go even more into it. Now I'm going to go into the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 9, verse 3. So now this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 9, verse 3. Understand therefore this day that the Lord thy God is he which goeth over before thee as a consuming fire. He shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face. So shalt thou drive them out and destroy them quickly, as the Lord hath said unto thee. I'm telling you, look, this is the Bible we reading right now. Okay, your pastor not going to teach you this. He going to teach you all loving and, kumbaya and shaking tambourines and all that garbage. He ain't going to tell you that there's going to be fire. that is going to engulf the earth. The reason why I brought up Egypt, the reason why I brought up Rome and Greece, great nations before, right? They were great. Egypt's desolate now. They're not great nations anymore. I don't know if anybody's ever been to Rome. I've been to Rome. I've been to Rome. All right. And you see like all those stones and everything. It's nothing. It's nothing. All right. They were great nations. They're gone. They're gone. Next on the chopping block is North America. North America is going to burn. Okay. And you see all this. You see all this stuff. I know it looked great, right? We got Vegas. They call that Sin City. Good night. We got Cali. LA, all the celebrities come out here. You know, we got let's see, we got Miami, Florida. I'm talking about like the big, like, well-known states and the cities, right? And it seems so great. We have all the technology. We got the Tesla. You feel me? We got the best cars, and we're the superpower. When I say we, I ain't talking about Israel. I'm talking about America, right? Esau, right? There's going to come a time, I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a time where this is going to be a barren wasteland. There's not going to be any more America. It's going to be engulfed in flames because World War III is going to happen. And not we, but America is going to go to war. And everything's going to get destroyed. Right? Now, let's go to Habakkuk. Let's go to the Book of Habakkuk. And we're going to go, y'all probably heard this one before, but if you haven't, I'm going to read it anyway. So we're going to go, slide it just one moment. We're going to go to the Book of Habakkuk, chapter 12, verse 2. Oh, Salakia. I said 12 and 2. Salakia, 2 and 12. Salakia. Jeez. The Book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establisheth a city by iniquity. What is that talking about? It's talking about America. All right. Woe meaning what? Destruction. Destruction to America because of the iniquity. What was the iniquity? Taking God's chosen people and mutilating them, violating them, enslaving, raping, killing, hanging, all those things, man, for abusing the children of God. Let me say something right now. There's a reason why the Most High is called the Ancient of Days. Because he don't forget nothing. Don't try to wrap your head around like how old the Most High is. Just don't. All I'm saying is the Most High doesn't forget anything. He remembers everything. And he remembers all the horrible things that Esau has did to Jacob. Jacob is who? Israel in the Bible. The 12 tribes of Israel. God is going to remember all of that. You get my point? And he's going to burn this place down. You don't believe me? Remember how I said, no, Salakia, not how I said, Salakia. The Bible says, Revelations 11 and 8 and 9, right? Spiritually, Sodom and Egypt, right? What happened to Sodom and Egypt? What happened in Sodom? In Sodom, what happened? Meteorites came from the sky and did what? Destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And they died. The Most High sent 2 angels over there and destroyed that city because it was so well stricken with iniquity. I mean, they would have gave the LGBTQ a run for their money. You get my point? Because spiritually, this place is Sodom and Egypt. We're in bondage, and there's just a whole bunch of unlawful, lustful, conniving monstrosities going around and running around. So the Lord's going to do what he always do. And he's going to wipe it off the face of the earth. Yup, brimstone is going to be in ashes. Most High in Christ. So right now, let's see. Let's go back to Revelation. Let's go back to Revelation. Revelation chapter 21. We're going to continue where we left off. So we left off on the book of Revelation chapter 21, verse 9. I just wanted to take a moment to emphasize the destruction that's going to come to America and any oppressor that dare touches the children of the Most High. Now, let's see. Oh, Slakia, verse 8. So we read that. So we're going to start on verse 9. And there came unto me one of the seven angels which had the seven vials full of the seven last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife. Now the bride doesn't mean like an actual woman. If you go up, let's see, if you go back to the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 2, and it says, And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned to her husband. It's a metaphor, right? Remember, this is a black book we're talking about right now. All right. So let's go back to verse 9. And there came unto me one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials full of the seven last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride, meaning New Jerusalem, the kingdom, right? The Lamb's wife, wife meaning the Lamb's new city, New Jerusalem. But who's the Lamb? Before I give it away, I want to see if anybody can guess it. Who is the Lamb referring to in the book of Revelations? See if anybody knows. Give everybody just a moment. The question is, who is the Lamb in the book of Revelations? Let's see if anybody knows. Just put it in the comments. I'll give y'all just a few more seconds. I don't want to give it away just yet. Khan, sis. Yup. Darwana said Yahawashai. Yes, this is Christ we're talking about. The Lamb is Christ. So remember, don't think like a Christian. When it says, "I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife," what it's saying is the bride, as we read in verse 2, the bride is New Jerusalem, and the Lamb's wife, the Lamb, Christ, wife, New Jerusalem. This is Christ's kingdom. This is the kingdom that we're working for. Now, to prove to you that that the Lamb is Christ, we're going to go to the book of John, chapter 1, verse 29. So this is the book of John, chapter 1, verse 29. The next day John seeth Yahushua, or Jesus, coming unto him, and saith, Behold, the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world. That's Christ. So that's John 1 and 29. Now, let's read John 1 and 36. And it says right here in the book of John, chapter 1, verse 36, And looking upon Jesus as he walked, he saith, Behold, the Lamb of God. So yes, the Lamb is Yahushua Mashiach. So this is Christ's kingdom. That's what this verse is talking about. Not like a literal lamb's wife. That's not what it's talking about. So just so everybody understands, if nobody understands, just Feel free to ask in the comments. So we're going to go to verse 10. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God, having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and the gates 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. I don't know how many times I'm going to keep reiterating this, but I'm going to say it every time. This is talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Notice how it said the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Esau is not making it to the kingdom. You get my point? And just to give a little bit more insight on that, Esau doesn't want to make it to the kingdom. That's what black people and Hispanics have to stop doing. Stop trying to save the oppressor. For one, all the horrible things he's done to you, but then also he don't want to be saved. Remember, for those y'all who don't know, Esau and Jacob at the time before his name was changed to Israel, they were actually twins. But one was older than the other because Esau came out first, right? But it said that there were two nations within the womb. So even though they were brothers, they were two separate nations. Now it was prophesied that the elder shall serve the younger. So if Esau was the oldest, who's the youngest? Is Jacob, Israel. Now, usually in customs, you give your inheritance to the eldest. Now, Isaac was their father. Now, Isaac was very impressed with Esau carnally because Esau was very good at hunting. I mean, you can kind of see it already because that's all Esau does is hunt and kill things. That's all he does. So you got to think like as a father, he was like very impressed by Esau. Like, oh, this is my eldest right here. He can slay an animal and do all this crazy stuff, right? And then Jacob he was described as a plain man. Like he was just chilling. He just vibing, minding his business, doing his daily duties. He was just chilling. So he wasn't as impressed with Jacob, and he was the younger. So usually the inheritance is given to the eldest. That's what Isaac was thinking of at the time. But their mother, Rebecca, she had the spirit of the Most High on her. So Rebecca, she knew that Jacob was the one that was supposed to receive the inheritance. So what did Jacob do? Jacob told Esau, this is after he got finished hunting, he told him to give himself the inheritance that he was going to get, the blessing, right? Now, the thing is, I just want to make something very clear. Jacob didn't trick Esau. Like he put it out plain as day for him, saying, hey, look, if you give me your inheritance, then I will, give you this slab of meat, right? Because Esau was very hungry at the time. Esau didn't put up a fuss. Esau did not put up a fuss. He just did it. You feel me? He just did it. Like, oh, whatever. Yeah. Just give me the food and yeah, you can have my blessing. That was the nature of Esau. He didn't even want the blessing in the first place until Jacob got the blessing. You feel me? He got the blessing from Isaac. And then what did Esau do? He ran to Isaac, his father, and he's begging his father, like, please, there's got to be something that you can give me, right? Anything. So what did Isaac do? Esau did get a blessing. He was blessed with the sword. Remember, Esau was a great hunter. This is why we say he's the most subtle beast on the field, because he's very talented in hunting prey. He is the predator. Okay? And what did Esau do on that day? He sworn to smite Jacob. That's why Edomites today, who are the children of Esau, They cannot stand us. It's in their spirit. They have to consistently keep their foot on our necks because they know. Even here's the thing, they know, but they don't know, if that makes sense. They might not, I mean, they don't, but they don't know the Bible, but their spirits, though, knows that we are the enemy. Now, here's the problem with black people. We don't know who the enemy is outside of the ISUPK. Here we know who the enemy is. And the enemy is anybody that is antichrist, especially Esau, right? But brothers in the world, sisters in the world, they don't know that. So because of that, you're like a lost sheep, just like it says in the Bible. Christ was sent to get the lost sheep. What does a sheep do? Look, a sheep is, without a shepherd, a sheep would just sit there and die. You get my point? Like, you see how docile a sheep is? You could literally walk up on a sheep and shave its wool off, and it won't do anything. It will just sit there and let it happen. A sheep will get eaten by a predator in front of other sheep, and the sheep will sit there. You get my point? Like, that's the whole concept of it. Without guidance, without a shepherd, without the Most High and Christ, guess what? We are lost sheep, and we're just being sent up for slaughter. You get my point? But let's continue. Let's continue real quick. Verse 13. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1, or chapter 21, verse 13. And on the east, 3 gates. On the north, 3 gates. On the south, 3 gates. And the west, 3 gates. 12 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations. And in them the name of the 12 apostles of the Lamb being Christ. We just read that in John 1 and 29 and 1 and 36. All right, so the apostles of Christ. And he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. And the city lieth 4 square, and the length is as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with the wreath, 12,000 furlongs. The length of the breadth and the height of it were equal. So like of it are equal. Now, let's see. Let's skip down to, you know what? No, we'll keep reading. So verse 17, and he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits, according to the measure of the man, that is, of the angel. And the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass. So the reason why I'm reading that is this is a beautiful kingdom. You gotta remember, this is Christ's kingdom, our kingdom. Like you gotta like really think about it, man. Like it's saying that the building, let's read that one more time. And the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city, let me say that one more time for you. The city was pure gold, like unto clear glass, meaning it's fine polished. There ain't a blemish on it. Just imagine a city of gold. Imagine how beautiful that is. Imagine all the precious jewels. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look it up real quick. A jasper. I believe that's a stone. Let's see. Yes, it's a stone. It's a pretty stone, right? Gold. A beautiful, beautiful nation. My point being is our nation is going to be greater than Babylon, greater than Egypt, greater than Sodom and Gomorrah, greater than Rome and Greece, greater than North America. I know it's hard to believe now because you see all of Esau's weapons and his military might, right? It seems great. It seems great, but our nation is going to be greater. I'm going to read a little bit more for you. Let's see. Let's go down to verse. Let's keep reading. Let's go to verse 19. And the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third chalcedony, the fourth an emerald. So just beautiful gems and jewels and stones all over the place, right? You know how blacks and Hispanic, you know how we decorate stuff. Now imagine our influence, but across the entire, like our own land. You know how like what they say. I like this saying. This one's for the sisters. A good woman can turn a house into a home. All right. Imagine that concept, but widely exaggerated across our entire nation, right? Let's see. Verse 20 talks about more of the stones, but I'm going to go down to verse 21. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl. So every gate is like, come on, man. And the street of the city was pure gold. The streets were gold. Just think like, it's hard to think about, I know. Like the streets. You ever drive out in San Bernardino? Y'all ever like you go to some like look, every state got their hood, man. And San Bernardino out here, right? I know New York. I drove through New York plenty of times. I know back home in Connecticut, Hartford. My point being is y'all see them big ass potholes. You see how like you know how it is. You drive and next thing you know, boom boom, and then your car done hit something. Now you gotta check your bumper and make sure your tire good. All right, there ain't gonna be none of that. Our cities are gonna be so glorious that the streets, the buildings are made out of gold, as onto fine glass. All right, my fault. Transparent glass, meaning that it's well polished. There's not a blemish, not a crack, nothing, not a speck of dirt on our kingdom. You feel me? Verse 22. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb, Christ, are the temple of it. Christ gonna be there. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it, for the glory of God did lighten it. And the Lamb, who is Christ, is the light thereof. You don't believe me? Look at Las Vegas. Las Vegas at nighttime, I mean, you don't even need the sun and the moon to even light it up. It produces its own light. Imagine that, but greater with our nation. Remember, everything's going to be filled with precious gems and jewels and stones. The streets are going to be as gold, pure gold, as if it were transparent glass. Our kingdom is going to be so much better than this garbage. People are going to forget about America. They're going to be like, what is in America? They ain't got nothing on us, right? But to get to the kingdom, you got to work. You got to work. You can't just sit around waiting for this to happen. No, you got to work. Because if you don't want to serve the Lord, what are you really doing with your life? Because you serving somebody. I'll tell you that right now. You're serving somebody. If you're not serving the Most High, you're serving most likely the oppressor. If you smoke cigarettes, if you smoke weed, if you get tattoos, if you celebrate holidays, I know we got another one coming up. What is it? Valentine's Day. It's going to be a bunch of Salakia. I almost said something. Salakia. It's going to be a bunch of weak brothers, Salakia, who going to go out there and get the chocolate and little gifts or whatever for your ungrateful ass rib who's probably cheating on you. That's what's gonna happen. And Lord forbid you don't get her anything. It's gonna be hell to pay. You get my point? For those of y'all who don't know, Valentine's Day is about it's about lust. Ain't nothing lovely about it, right? The heart, like y'all seen like a human heart before, right? But then you see like the shape of a heart. If you really look at it, the heart actually resembles a buttocks. It's an ass. Okay, that's what it resembles. Okay, and during that time, I believe it was the Spartans. The Spartans, well, Rome, Greece, all that stuff. I mean, Esau is very well known for being, homosexual anyway. But at that time, it was believed for Spartans in Rome that if you have sex with your, with your warrior friend, I don't even know what to call them, then you'll be that much closer. So they would have sex with each other to build a better bond with each other. Because now it's the concept, I'm not just fighting for my brother, I'm fighting for my lover. It's gay. All right. Valentine's Day is gay. I'm just going to say it. All right. So the whole point is don't celebrate holidays. All right. You got to stop all that stuff. You got to change. All right. You want the kingdom to come? Earn it. You have to earn it. How do you earn it? By coming into the Isupk and commanding General Yohana, which is the home of the truth. Okay, we're the only people here that really gives a damn about our people. We're not just talking about it. We could talk all day. Black and Hispanic people love to talk. We love to run our mouth. But how many of us actually do something about it? You know how many black conscious communities we got out here? What do they do? What do they do for the community? Nothing. They don't do nothing. All right. What was it Brother Polite? Wasn't he just found out as a child molester when he was having sex with a 14-year-old girl? Come on, man. Yo, Christian church, what they do for you? In a time of COVID, didn't the Christian doors close? Meanwhile, the Isupk, we've been open since 1969. Come on, man. If you're not in the Isupk and the Commander General Yohana, you are wasting your time. And like I said earlier, Salakia, not what I said. Gotta make sure I say that. What the Bible says, there's going to be a second death. And like I brought up earlier, in the book of during Noah, in time of Noah, it was the flood, right? That was the first great death that the Most High bestowed upon the earth, right? It's going to come a second time. And this time it ain't going to be with water. It's going to be with fire. And you're going to burn if you're not serving the Most High. Because the Lord is going to destroy America. And like I said, if you're not serving the Most High, you serve somebody. And odds are it's the oppressor. So if you want to lie with the oppressor, you're going to die with the oppressor. You're going to get caught in that fire. When them chariots rain down and we get beamed up, I know it sounds crazy, huh? Trust me, it's going to happen. When them chariots come down and it's saving brothers and sisters who have proved themselves worthy of the Most High, you know what's going to happen? We're going to be looking down like, damn, that's crazy. All them fire, you're going to see all them Edomites burning up. And sadly, you're going to see brothers and sisters burning up down there too, because they made their choice. I know that's kind of a hard pill to swallow, but it's the truth. All right? So you need to see whose side you really on. Because if you ain't on the Most High side, I mean, look, all I'm going to say is the Most High don't take no L's. I mean, whoever beat the Most High, whoever beat God, I'm just throwing that out there, trying to help you out. Just saying. But with that being said, I'm going to get ready to close the class. If anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to put it in the chat. I'm going to give everybody just a moment before I get started, give somebody some time, if anybody does have any questions. And if I could, real quick, I just want to say the water to everybody that tuned in. So you got Bathar Wana. See, who's this? Alicia. What's on Crisis? Halak, the water for tuning in. Salakia says, if I butcher your name, Kanaya. I hope I didn't say your name wrong, sis. Make sure. See if anybody else in here. Sister Justquisha, the water for tuning in, sis. I believe that's everybody. Oh, Most High in Crisis, the water. All right, well, if nobody has any questions, comments, or concerns, I'm going to begin closing the class. All right, so with that, Amijam, just me up here.
La Yasharala, which means to Israel.
Off the water, everyone. I appreciate it.
Amajim Apanya Hakwadam, which means to stand and face the east. And we'll be getting started with the Lord's Prayer. In the Hebrew, this is the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Latananawa, Lakam, Ko, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawatinawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Banasaiwan, Abol, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wataparath, Lawalumium, Aman. Now the Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Habakkuk, which is the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Babakashah, Latan Lanawa, Habakkuk, Habakkuk, Larapa'ah, Call, Makalah, Wakal, Madawa, Habakkuk, Latahar, Ha, Matazarayim, Habakkuk, Lahaquayim, Hamathian, Habakkuk, Ayel, Rakawath, Hatama Allah, Lagar Shun, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Thowada, Amun. Now in the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you. So be it. The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh, wa Yahweh Shai, wa Mayaka Allah, wa Alahayim, Matazab Ya'ah, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapyim, Ha Saranyim, Hakwatazayoyin, Hakayayoyin, Waha Akwathian, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Thawada, Amun. The blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, O, Haharyam, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Izoya, Ma'aim, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayim, Wa'arataza, Oyathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Salakia, O, Yanawam, Shamorka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashun, Shawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shamorka, Yahweh, Tzalka, Al-Yad, Yamyamka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Shamorka, Makor, Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'athka, Wabawa'athka, Ma'ita, Wa'ai, Awalam. Now, Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. Now, Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, O, Damaya, Laka, O, Takarash, Wa'o, Tashakwat, O, Kaya, Hana, Awayebuka, Yahama, Yawan, Ra'ash, I'll, Amaka, Ya'ayamwa, Sawada, Waita, Yaitazawa, I'll, Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakidum, Slagi, Ahoya, Adawam, Wa, Yashama'alim, Wawa Wahagoyim, Gabal, Wa'amawan, Wa'amalak, Palashath, Am Yashabia, Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Laham, Kamudyim, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayabian, Banakor, Kwayashwan, Nashad Marwa, Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shayadamwa, Nada, Yamawa, Kai Rab, Wakaza Abba, Wakaza Bak, Wakatazol, Manai, Ko, Asayakamwa, Ashar, Amorwa, Nayarasha, Lanawa, Ath, Naawath, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapunya, Rawaka'a, Ka'ash, Tabaira, Ya'ira, Wa, Kalahaba, Talahat, Haryam, Kun, Taradatma, Basa'iraka, Wabasa, Wapathka, Tabahalam, Mala'a, Panyahum, Kwalawan, Waya, Bakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya, Ad Ya'id, Waya, Kapar wa, Waya, Abad wa, Waya, Daiwa, Kaya, Atha, Shamka, Yahweh, Labadka, Al Yawan, Alcohol, Ha Ratazah. Now, Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace. And be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make atonement, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth, made their nobles like a red, and like Zaid. Yea, all their princes as Zabat and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a will, as a stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Lord, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. Shalom, Israel.